Storm Boris is lashing large parts of Central and Eastern Europe. Torrential rains, high winds and flooding have killed people in Romania, Poland and Austria. Thousands more have been forced to flee as water levels are rising, washing away homes and livestock. Authorities in the Czech Republic say 4 people are missing. Forecasters warn the worst may be yet to come.
It has been a sleepless night for residents. They're receiving continuous warnings in the worst flood-affected areas of eastern Romania.
It destroyed everything. I don't have anything left. The beds, the pillows are filled with mud. I have nowhere to sleep. Nothing.
Villagers are still assessing the damage. Fast-flowing floodwaters have destroyed homes and belongings and washed away pets and livestock.
It killed the dog, the pigs. It killed all the chickens. All the crops. We have nothing left.
Floods are wreaking havoc across large parts of Central and Eastern Europe, the worst in decades. In the Czech Republic, the floodwaters reached historic levels and forced mass evacuations.
What you see here is worse than in 1997. And I don't know what's still going to happen. My house is underwater. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to return.
In Poland, rising waters caused a river to burst its banks, flooding streets and houses in the historic town of Głuchołazy. Power supply and communications have also been cut off in some areas. Forecasters say the heavy rains brought on by Storm Boris could persist through Monday.
And for more of this, let's bring in journalist Bruce Pannier. He's in Prague. Bruce, what's the situation where you are?
Well, the rain isn't letting up. The latest news said they've evacuated more than 10,000 people already. They described it as preventative evacuations. There's about 250,000 households at the moment that are without electricity. There seems to be no let up to the rain. It keeps going. Anyone that's living by a river or a canal is probably seeing the water, if not actually reaching their house, actually certainly approaching their house at the moment. That said, they mobilized more than 100,000 firefighters and volunteer firefighters to help out. They've been filling sandbags since before the rain started on Friday, fortifying the riverbanks. So they took all the measures they could to help out ahead of time. But the reality of it is that the water just keeps coming and coming. I mean, it hasn't let up raining since it started on Friday.
Now, do you think the Czech authorities have everything under control as far as that's possible?
As far as is possible, yes. If you watch the news, and of course they're covering this 24/7 at the moment, they did, like I said, they took all the measures they could. They made sure that the canals were cleared, that there was no debris under bridges, everything. They put huge stones along the banks of rivers and canals to try to keep people, or to keep the water from flowing and degrading the side of the rivers. They warned everyone in the country knew this was coming. And as your newscast said, they described this as the storm of the century. So everyone knew this was coming. But the fact is you can't know how bad it's going to be until it actually starts to hit. So what they could do, they did. Now everyone's just trying to deal with the fact that there's no end in sight to the rain. It just keeps coming and coming. And you see the pictures by the hour. You can see the water in some of these towns and villages, going further and further into the towns.
So do you think the worst is still to come?
That's what they're saying on the news, that we haven't peaked yet. They're saying probably by tonight in some of the places it'll be at its worst, and they expect that while it will continue raining tomorrow, the worst of it hopefully will be behind us by the early hours of Monday morning.
The journalist Bruce Pannier there in Prague. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Thank you for having me.
And we can now bring in journalist Stephan Bachenheimer, who joins us from Salzburg in northern Austria. That's close to the border with Germany. Stephan, what's the situation where you are right now?
I have been driving through parts of Austria this morning, and the landscape here has turned into a lakescape. All the fields are underwater. There are firefighters out there. There are a total of 20,000 firefighters here that are helping with the situation. There are about 1,000 soldiers from the Austrian army on standby to help. And it's rather dramatic in the state of Lower Austria, one of the 9 Austrian states, Niederösterreich, which has been declared entirely a disaster zone. The city of Vienna has, in part, subways shut down. There is some part of the population has no electricity. So it is rather dramatic. There's also a lake, which is the Lake Ottenstein, a reservoir, which is northeast of Linz or northwest of Vienna. And that reservoir is filled to capacity and is expected to flood, basically, anytime soon. And that would mean that the river Kam, or Kampfluss, is going to swell, and that's a tributary to the Danube. So we can expect this water to come down further into areas of Eastern Europe. And there's a warning of flash floods everywhere because the ground is so saturated that flash floods can develop at any given time.
Now, we've heard just a moment ago that the worst is still to come in the Czech Republic. What's the forecast saying about the course of the storm and how Austria and later on maybe Germany being affected?
Well, the big question is still what is the temperature going to be in the next hours and next days? Because if the snow starts to melt, that has been falling in the Alps and will go down the Inn River, then that will mean again more water coming down in the Danube and other rivers in the Inn River. And that could be an additional threat. But authorities here clearly try to do what they can. This is a floating situation where it's very hard to predict what will happen. A lot depends on the weather situation, and the weather is expected to warm up in the next couple of days. So that could mean that the snow will melt and the situation will stay dramatic.
The journalist Stephan Bachenheimer there in Salzburg, Austria for us. Thank you very much, Stephan.